Welcome to another episode of 9to5Mac Weekly, where we still don't have a new iMac yet. I'm your host, Miles Somerville. Let's dive into the news. This first story is all about Apple's upcoming custom silicon Macs and Thunderbolt. Many people have wondered how Apple's going to address Thunderbolt in their ARM-based Macs, given that Thunderbolt technology requires an Intel-made controller, so with the removal of Intel CPUs, so should Thunderbolt, right? Well, not according to an interview Apple had with The Verge. Over a decade ago, Apple partnered with Intel to design and develop Thunderbolt, and today our customers enjoy the speed and flexibility it brings to every Mac. This is true. We remain committed to the future of Thunderbolt and will support it in Macs made with Apple Silicon. So there you have it, and even though USB 4, which is essentially going to support Thunderbolt 3 type speeds, is right around the corner anyway, it seems as though Apple is assuring us that Thunderbolt is pretty much here to stay on the Mac platform. How they're going to do that exactly, I'm honestly not really sure, but I guess we'll have to see in time. In our next story, we've got a few more details on Apple's upcoming AR headset and glasses that have been rumored for several months now. A new report from The Information states that the lenses that Apple's been prototyping has begun trial production, and while we don't necessarily know what specific product these lenses are for, the sources claim that these are indeed going to be for AR devices. The source also notes that the lenses are said to be composed of many thin layers and are thicker than what you'd find on a typical pair of glasses. I would personally love to see an Apple take on a piece of eyewear. I think they could probably really knock it out of the park as far as innovation, but this is definitely a ways out, at least a few years out for sure, so I guess we'll just have to see over the next couple of years. A new report from our guy Ming-Chi Kuo has some minor updates on what we should expect to see from the first wave of ARM Macs. Kuo stated in this report that we should still expect to see a 13-inch MacBook Pro go on sale at the end of this year, but also expects 2021 to bring us a redesigned 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro, as well as a new MacBook Air, all running on the custom ARM-based chips. So I think with this, we have the most sensible roadmap of what to expect with the ARM-based Macs in the next year or so. So at the end of the year, we should see a 13-inch MacBook Pro, probably with the same design as the current generation, but just with an ARM chip to kind of just test the waters, see what people think about it. And then next year, we get the redesign for all three models, the Air, a 14-inch redesigned MacBook Pro, and then a redesigned 16-inch MacBook Pro, all running on the ARM chips. That sounds like a plan. And with this, we should definitely expect to see the Macs come down in price as well. The MacBook Air specifically should definitely be a cheaper MacBook when outfitted with that ARM CPU. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. So we've got another Desk Flex for this week, and if you're unaware of what Desk Flex is, it's essentially just a segment we do here on 9to5Mac Weekly where you, the viewer, can submit a 1 to 2 minute clip of your Mac-oriented setup and have it featured on the channel. This week, I think we've probably got the craziest Desk Flex we've seen yet on 9to5Mac Weekly. This one is from Scott Lee. He sent this over a few weeks ago, and it's crazy. You're gonna want to check this out. Let's dive in.
Hey everybody, it's Scott Lee. I produce professional tech videos from a developer's perspective here on YouTube. I want to give you all a first-time world exclusive 9to5 glimpse into what I use to make my audio and video productions behind the scenes. Let's go. Starting off, the desk I use in my main work area is the Middle Atlantic Overbridge Corner Desk with 2 side bay rack add-ons. My audio interface weapon of choice is the Apogee Symphony IO Mark II with the 8x8+8 mic preamp module. This configuration is just like the Apple Afterburner card in my Mac Pro. Rather than using the field programmable gate array to process ProRes video, it offloads audio processing overhead such as virtual plugins and the 192K 32-bit engine in the Avid DSP card. This frees up both CPU and GPU system usage. My monitor here is the Apple Pro Display XDR. This is the non-matte version of the monitor, which I personally prefer, and you'll see a review soon for. Look out for more videos very soon, going into an enormous amount of detail on all audio and video production hardware seen both on and off camera. I'd like to personally thank Miles for allowing me to share my studio with you. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Wow, I mean, that wasn't my first time watching it, but that is an insane setup. I'm pretty sure this is the first Mac Pro setup we've seen for 9to5 Desk Flex, as well as the first Pro Display XDR setup we've seen for 9to5 Desk Flex. Overall, really baller setup you've got there. I'm sure you're getting a lot of work done with that. Well, hopefully at least. But yeah, I'll make sure to leave Scott's YouTube channel down in the description below. Awesome setup. Thank you for submitting. And a little bit of iPhone news, it looks as though the iPhone 12 Pro models are going to be coming with a RAM increase. According to a tweet from reputable leaker Love to Dream, it looks as though the standard 12 models will have 4GB of RAM and the Pro models will have 6GB of RAM. And to me, besides the fact that people want to know every detail about the iPhone before launch, I don't really get why this is a big deal to some people. While firstly, yes, Apple rarely does increase the amount of RAM on their iPhones, it is only a 2GB difference. It's not a 4 to 6GB difference. But I think the reason Apple is doing this is because they're starting to add in a lot of features to iOS that Android's got, like picture-in-picture, widgets, stuff like that. I think they're doing this to just give iOS a little bit of extra headroom going forward as they make the operating system a bit more advanced or a bit more heavy, or a bit more robust. In our last story, this past week, Intel gave us the full lowdown on Thunderbolt 4 and what it's going to offer over Thunderbolt 3. When it comes to speeds, not much. You're still looking at the same maximum 40 gigabit per second speed as Thunderbolt 3, but you're now going to get the full 40 gigabit per second speed at up to a 6-foot cable. Thunderbolt 4 supports 2 4K displays or one 8K display. Laptops with Thunderbolt 4 will have to have at least one 100-watt charging port, and Thunderbolt 4 docks will be forced to support wake from sleep. So while we're not making necessarily leaps and bounds as far as speeds, there are a few really nice additions. It's more of a Thunderbolt 3S than a Thunderbolt 4, but I'm excited to see this on upcoming devices, as we should see this on Macs as soon as next year. And speaking of Macs, if you're a Mac Mini lover like myself and want to see what a Pro version of a Mac Mini from Apple could look like, hit the pop-out banner in the corner to check out this concept video I put together. But that's pretty much it for this episode. Everything I talked about today, including Scott's YouTube channel, will be linked down in the description down below. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to subscribe for future content like this, and I'll talk to you in the next one.